Dylan Wang's secret proposal to Shen Yue. Why she said no. It was the moment every fan had secretly hoped for. The moment that had been speculated about for years. Dylan Wang and Shen Yue. Two names forever linked by fate, chemistry, and the undeniable magic they shared on screen. From the very first time they met on the set of Meteor Garden, the world had watched their every interaction, analyzing every glance, every smile, and every behind-the-scenes moment. Fans had built theories, imagined love stories, and held on to the belief that maybe, just maybe, what they saw on screen was more than just acting. But no one could have predicted this. No one could have imagined that Dylan Wang, the charismatic, confident, and often mischievous actor, would take such a bold step. And yet he did. He proposed. The story of Dylan Wang's secret proposal to Shen Yue didn't just start with one grand romantic gesture. It had been building up for years, in the stolen moments between takes, in the quiet conversations when the cameras weren't rolling, in the way Dylan looked at Shen Yue when he thought no one was watching. There had always been something between them, an energy that was hard to define, a connection that seemed to go beyond co-stars and colleagues. For Dylan, that connection had turned into something more. He had never been the kind of person to hesitate, never the type to shy away from his feelings. He had always been the bold one, the one who spoke his mind, the one who took risks. And when it came to Shen Yue, he was willing to take the biggest risk of all. It wasn't an elaborate, over-the-top proposal. No cameras, no flashing lights, no grand public declarations. Dylan Wang wasn't that kind of person when it came to things that truly mattered. Instead, it was private, personal, just the two of them. He wanted it to be real, to be about them, not the expectations of fans or the pressure of the industry. But when he asked her the question that could have changed everything, Shen Yue's response was not what he had hoped for. She said no. The words hung in the air between them, heavy with emotion, filled with a meaning that only the two of them could fully understand. It wasn't rejection in the way most people would think. It wasn't cold, it wasn't cruel, it wasn't dismissive. It was heartbreaking, because Shen Yue cared. That was the hardest part. She cared about Dylan more than she could ever put into words. But caring wasn't always enough. There were reasons that only she could truly understand, reasons that tore her apart even as she spoke them aloud. First, there was the reality of their careers. In an industry as demanding as theirs, love wasn't just about emotions. It was about timing, about sacrifices, about the constant pressure of the public eye. Shen Yue had always been a private person, someone who valued her independence, her space, her ability to make choices without the weight of the world watching. A relationship with Dylan, especially one as serious as what he was offering, would change everything. It would turn their private moments into public spectacle, would invite endless scrutiny, speculation, and expectations. Was she ready for that? She wasn't sure. And then there was Dylan himself. Dylan Wang was a force of nature. He was passionate, unpredictable, intense. He loved deeply, felt everything with his whole heart, and lived life without hesitation. That was what made him so magnetic, so irresistible. But it was also what made him dangerous. Shen Yue knew that Dylan loved with all of himself. But what happened when things got hard? What happened when the excitement faded? When the real-world pressures became too much? Would he still feel the same? Would they still be the same? She couldn't risk it. Not with him. Not with someone who meant so much to her. She had seen too many love stories turn into tragedies. Too many friendships ruined by emotions that burned too brightly and then faded too quickly. She couldn't let that happen to them. She couldn't lose him. Not like that. And so, with tears in her eyes, she told him the hardest truth she had ever spoken. I can't. Dylan didn't argue. He didn't beg. He didn't try to convince her. That wasn't who he was. He had always believed that love should be free, that it should be chosen, not forced. And if Shen Yue wasn't ready, if she didn't feel the same way, then he wouldn't try to change her mind. But that didn't mean it didn't hurt. For the first time, the always confident, always smiling Dylan Wang felt truly lost. He had put his heart on the line, had allowed himself to believe in something that maybe was never meant to be. And now, he had to live with the answer. After that night, things changed. How could they not? They were still friends, still colleagues, still the Dylan and Shen Yue that the world had fallen in love with. But there was a distance now, an unspoken understanding that some lines had been crossed, some doors had been closed forever. They still laughed together, still shared inside jokes, still supported each other's dreams. But the easy, effortless connection they once had was no longer the same. Fans noticed. They always did. The little details, the moments when their eyes met and quickly looked away, the subtle shift in their dynamic. Rumors spread, speculation about a secret love, a secret heartbreak, a story that no one but them truly knew. And through it all, Shen Yue wondered, had she made the right choice? Had she let go of something that could have been beautiful? Had she protected herself from heartbreak? Or had she simply denied herself the chance to experience something extraordinary? Dylan never brought it up again. He respected her decision, even if it had broken him in ways he would never admit. He moved forward, focused on his career, on new projects, on new adventures. But some part of him, some quiet, hidden part, would always wonder what could have been. Because love, real love, never truly fades. It lingers, in the spaces between words, in the memories of what once was, in the silent moments when no one else is watching. And maybe, just maybe, in another time, in another life, in a world where timing and fate were kinder, their story would have had a different ending. Dylan Wang's secret proposal to Shen Yue. Why she said no. Continuation. Time moved forward, but some wounds never truly healed. Dylan Wang and Shen Yue went their separate ways, at least in the public eye. They took on different projects, worked with new co-stars, and continued building their careers as if nothing had ever happened. But those who had watched them closely, those who had followed their journey from the beginning, knew better. There was something different about Dylan. His energy, once so electric, seemed slightly dimmed. He still laughed, still charmed audiences with his signature confidence, but something in his eyes had changed. It wasn't something obvious, not something most people would notice. But Shen Yue noticed. She always did. And yet, she never spoke about it. They still crossed paths occasionally, whether at industry events, award shows, or through mutual friends. Each meeting was polite, cordial, maybe even warm, on the surface. But the distance between them remained. Unspoken words filled the air whenever they were near each other. Then came the moment neither of them expected. A major production company had been working on a new drama, one that promised to be a cultural phenomenon. The producers wanted Dylan Wang and Shen Yue together. It was an undeniable opportunity, one that would elevate both of their careers even further. Their on-screen chemistry was legendary, and the industry knew that reuniting them would guarantee success. But would they say yes? For Dylan, the answer should have been easy. Professionally, it was the perfect role. But personally, it meant facing Shen Yue again, not just for a few passing moments, but every day for months. It meant pretending that nothing had happened, pretending that she hadn't once shattered his heart with a single word.